Hello, everyone. Today we are going to be discussing a topic which is very close to most of us in India, working in India, in our hearts, which is small is strong. And when we say small is strong, we are talking about SMBs, which contribute significantly to our GDP. We all know that they employ more than 120 million people in the country. And in a way, they are the backbone of our economy, of the growth that we expect and the dream that we are living in India. We have two very eminent panelists here. One is Shalini Girish and the other one is Dilip Shenoy. And let me just quickly introduce you. Shalini is the director for Google Customer Solutions organization, and her team helps Indian businesses of varying sizes successfully connect with their customers using Google solutions. Overall, Shalini has been with Google for over 14 years. In a previous role, she was based out of Sao Paulo for about 3 years, where she set up and led the Google Marketing Solutions team for Latin America. Earlier in her Google career, Shalini has also held senior leadership roles, leading India operations for Google Ads customer experience for markets like US, UK, and Australia. Before Google, Shalini spent 10 years leading teams in operations and customer experience in companies like Hutchison SR, now Vodafone, GE Capital International Services, and Airtel. Hello, Shalini, and welcome to the panel.
Thank you.
And we have with us Dilip Shenoy. Dilip Shenoy was appointed Secretary General of FICCI, the leading industry chamber in India, in April 2018. He was the first managing director and CEO of National Skill Development Corporation, NSDC, a public-private partnership formed under Section 25 of the Companies Act 1956 from 7th May 2010 to 8th October 2015. Dilip spearheaded NSDC for over 5 years. The mandate of NSDC is to foster private sector investment and initiatives in the skill development ecosystem and contribute to harnessing India's demographic dividend. Prior to NSDC, Dilip was the Director General of the Society of Indian Automobile Manufacturers, a role he took up after being with CII for 19 years. His was Deputy Director General at CII when he moved to Siam. He completed his schooling from Hyderabad Public School and graduated with a degree in science honors with a major in chemistry from Delhi University in 1980. He is a fellow of the World Academy of Productivity Science. He's a member of several government committees and serves on the board of various organizations. Now, with that, I hand over to Shalini and Dilip for opening remarks, please.
Hi, yes, Shraddha. Thank you so much for that introduction. I'm very, very excited to be part of today's session so that I can use this opportunity to share more about what Google's long-term commitments to SMB has been to the Indian SMB ecosystem. And we've run many initiatives across various tools, products. There have been skilling initiatives, that we've done both independently, but also joining hands with partners such as yourself and FICCI to really try and make a difference to SMBs in India. In fact, like I mentioned, both FICCI and Your Story have been great partners to us in this in our efforts, both to digitize the SMB community and to raise awareness about various ways in which businesses can get the best out of being online. I just want to say that this pandemic, I think, has had such an immense impact on every individual pretty much across the globe, and SMBs are no different, right? It has had a pretty big impact, and I think, but what is unfortunate is it's been a relatively negative impact on SMBs, right? And ever since the beginning of this crisis, as Google, what we've tried to do is we've tried to get a better understanding of what kind of things SMBs have been going through, right? What are some of their biggest challenges in this new environment, which is completely unfamiliar to them? It has been extremely challenging for them as businesses just went. There was a time when businesses just couldn't even operate, right? So we've been trying our best to try and understand what has been the impact on them. And using those insights, so we've pretty much centered our efforts around, I'd say, two broad categories. One is to try and accelerate their digital enablement in this new world of COVID, and also helping SMBs really accelerate their customer engagement and activation. So those are the two broad areas which I'm hoping that through today's conversation we'll get to talk a little bit more about.
Thank you, Shalini. Look forward to our conversation. Dilip, if I could request you to open.
Thank you, Shadra. And really taking off from where Shalini left, I think first, so FICCI values its multiple relationships with Google, and I'll elaborate this going forward, and also with your story. I think, collaboration is the way forward, in the COVID and post-COVID scenario. The broader the cooperation, the deeper the cooperation, the more impact it will have. And I believe that this cooperation really focused on the medium and small industry is going to be very, very significant. So if you look at the FICCI context, and if you look at what we have been doing with Google in the past, we've actually done two programs which are very, very significant in terms of the MSMEs. The first is we started even pre-COVID, right? And a lot of people say that it is not the CTO, the CIO, or the CEO who drove digitization of companies. It's actually COVID, which has rapidly accelerated the digitization of companies. And we started a digital marketing series with Google over the last few years, where we went around getting MSMEs to actually enroll and do digital marketing courses. And this was before the current context, so it is very relevant, and we continue that effort. The second thing was that a lot of the MSMEs actually work in local languages. And we have a group which is the Indian Language Internet Alliance, which is also supported by the stakeholders here. And where we look at getting Indic languages on the internet and getting people connected there. And that is even becoming more relevant when we talk of vocal for local, right, at this point of time. And given that the MSMEs actually, there are about 6.3 million MSMEs in the country, and they have a significant number of employment. But in every virtual supply chain, and virtually every supply chain, there is a small and medium enterprise somewhere, either tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. And without the survival of that MSME and the integration of that MSME in the current reality of business, can actually have a wider impact on the economy. So FICCI has been working with multiple partners to try and identify those type of companies and do three things. One is to ensure that they have some sort of finance available through the government programs, whether it is the Emergency Credit Guarantee Scheme or the state governments, and then working with state governments to actually waive things, electricity charges, lower rentals, etc. The second thing is that in the day-to-day things, especially in the lockdown, because now we're in unlock 5, right? But in lockdown 1, lockdown 2, lockdown 3, movement of people, movement of goods and services, were hugely impacted, operation of factories. So we worked with the MSMEs on developing standard operating procedures even before it became the norm for the ministry to actually approve them, to keep continuity of their businesses. And then also work with the Ministry of Small and Medium Enterprises, MSME Ministry, Micro and Medium Small Enterprises, to actually address the problem. And the government has done a lot of things digitally. Actually, that is not known there. And we'll talk about that later. But we also had, a few years ago, created the Confederation of Small and Medium Enterprises, a dedicated body that is working in this sector with all the associations going forward. And more recently, we are also partnering with the GAME, which is an organization looking at medium enterprises and entrepreneurship to see how we can address that. So collaboration, reaching out to MSMEs, addressing their grassroots problems, enabling them to reach out to the markets and helping them on the journey to grow.
Shalini, now I'll come to you. If you could tell us what is the current state of the ecosystem through what you are seeing, and what are some of the high level trends and insights that you are seeing surface, emerge now?
Sure, Shraddha. I think most of us, as you had also started, MSMEs are really the backbone of our country's economy, right? I mean, they do provide that economic vitality, and there are 63 million SMBs in this amazing country. But the pandemic really brought this entire ecosystem and the commercial activity of this ecosystem to a grinding halt, right? Um, and and it was such a challenging period, and for most of us it was new. We had not experienced this kind of an event ever in the past. It was kind of unfathomable. So we needed to, as an organization, also understand a little bit more about what really SMEs were going through at this point in time, right? So what we did, Shraddha, is way back in April itself, we commissioned a tracker, an ongoing tracker with Kantar, to really try and understand like what are the challenges that these SMBs are facing, so that we can go ahead and customize our initiatives basis those findings, right? So what we found is at the beginning of the lockdown itself, SMBs obviously at that point in time, since everything was complete shutdown, they were facing issues across their revenues, whether it was workforce, they were facing supply chain issues, costs, everything was a complete challenge for them. But now if you kind of look with unlock coming in, the pressures on workforce and cash flows, and this is what we're seeing on the tracker, has slowly started to kind of ease out, right? But consumer demand, right, is still at the forefront, right? And from the survey, we found that 9 out of 10 businesses that we spoke to said that still consumer demand has not come back to the pre-COVID levels, right? They're still struggling there because customers are either buying lesser or buying fewer times, right? And even from my own personal experience, if I kind of think about me as a consumer, right, I used to eat out, like if I take my eat out habit as an example, right, I used to eat out a lot before COVID times. Now in the last 6 months, I've literally not eaten out at all. Right? So as a consumer, I have not necessarily done my part, and it comes out of my own personal I guess fears of what fear of the unknown if I go out and kind of sit in a restaurant with a bunch of people, right? But that is really at the heart of what SMBs are facing. Their consumer demand is still not at the level that it needs to be. So the need really of the hour is how can we, one, get these offline SMBs to quickly digitize, right, and bring them online through simple tools. And simplicity is extremely key, right? We can't put challenging processes in front of these SMBs, and skilling them to really help them transform and bring back their business to where it used to be is really the need of the hour. And in this new environment, I'd also just want to highlight that it's small businesses are trying their best, right, to kind of adapt to this new environment and come up with new ways of engaging with their customers, right, and recover from this. But they will still need support from various stakeholders, including and not exclusive to just like tech companies like ours. Dilip was talking about the kind of support government is giving, which is very important also in this. Financial support, financial institutions need to step up to support them. But more importantly, I think with the consumer demand, only the Indian consumers can actually help bridge that gap, right? So that's a very important piece of this entire puzzle of getting consumers also to really recognize that if they don't come back and provide their support to these small businesses, then there is little chance of them coming back in the glory that they were in prior to lockdown.
If you can tell us more about what you're saying in terms of the challenges and faced not just by the businesses but industries and any input, any key inputs that you've seen emerging or you like to give us.
Sure. Yeah. So I can share some insights from the tracker, which I alluded to earlier. So this tracker we actually ran across 16 countries, and we've run multiple phases of it since April, almost on a monthly basis. And we've tried to cover multiple verticals also, right? So I think it broadly covers a large part of the urban SMBs across many cities, and it also covers verticals like the non-essential retail, food and dining industries, professional services, and education. So what I'm going to share with you in terms of data points are representative of all of this, right? The first data point I think that might be meaningful for us to understand, and I alluded to this, is that from wave 1 to the latest wave, the one piece that hasn't changed is that 9 out of 10 businesses are saying that consumer demand is still low. So it's not that consumer demand has completely come back up, and I alluded to that, right? 92% of them have, even in wave 1 they said that. Now in the latest wave, after we are coming to unlock 5, and they're still saying the same thing, right? That consumer demand hasn't really gone back to the normal level. So I think that's one that I want to definitely share. But on the bright side, I also want to share a data point on what SMBs are saying in terms of the helpfulness of being online. Like, are they actually seeing value of being online, right? And value more from engaging with their customers? Are they really seeing value from being on the internet? And that has actually improved. So in wave 1, only 38% of them even said that they understand or recognize the value of being online. That has improved already in the last 4 months to about 52%, right? So more businesses are actually, once they come online, they're actually able to see the value of that. So I think these are like two very pertinent insights that I'd like to share with you at this time.
Dilip, we'd love to know your perspective. What are you seeing? What have been some of your learnings, and you and your member organizations?
If you look at this is right from the lockdown, literally every month, the first thing that we are saying is that capacity utilization within April, obviously because everything was shut, was very, very low. But if I were to take June, July, about 40% of the units were saying that they were operating above 50% capacity. Now it's gone up to 60%, So many more firms are actually working at greater capacity utilization. The second thing which is very interesting and which amplifies what the digitalness of the industry, what has happened is that during the lockdown, a lot of government services and government facilitation went online. If I were to take specifically with relationship to the MSMEs, the MSME definition has changed, and the new definition, you can actually log up and register yourself online. So there's no paper work required. Second is that there is the champion portal of the MSME industry, which is also online, which helps you in addressing a lot of other activities. Third, there is the grievance portal of the MSME, which is also digital, where you can upload your grievances against, whether you're not being given a loan, or you're not being made payments, and that is also actually enabling you to happen. And then even the loan approval process, whether it's the 49 minute loan, or whether it is the things under the emergency credit guarantee scheme, is also moved online. And the opportunities for small firms to bid for contracts over 200 up to 200 crores has also gone online, and the government e-marketplace has actually also expanded. So the digital opportunities for small and medium firms to interface with the government, to get government permissions, to actually market to government institutions, and not to forget the TREDS platform, which enables you to digitally upload your invoices to be able to get finance from the best kind of bidder. So the digital interface and the digital opportunities for the MSMEs in the last 6 months has actually grown exponentially. And then a lot of the initial requirements, especially in containment zones, and containment zones within the country, within Delhi, you have over 500 or nearly 600 containment zones. In those containment zones, the only deliveries you can do is digitally. So again, getting the small and medium enterprises, or even some of the local Kirana stores have also gone digital using mobile phones and all sorts of different apps, right? So the ability of firms to expand, whether it is their marketplace or whether to get into government programs, get access to financing, get information, register, get approvals, has dramatically gone online. And in a very different way, even hearings in courts have gone online, right? So it is, the whole COVID thing, like I said earlier, it is imperative that MSMEs actually get very savvy and get to understand the different platforms. Even, conferences and even our webinars are all on different platforms. And, not one platform is there. There are multiple platforms, and we've got to understand how to mute, unmute, how to view, panel view, speaker view, and how to actually participate. And a lot of MSMEs have to do that. So digitization and the digital pivoting to digital is the key to the success of any medium, small micro enterprise, even if it is a sole proprietorship or even if it's in the service sector. So a lot of services that are being delivered physically now are being delivered online. So I think, that is the change that you are actually seeing. And going forward, a lot of that which was actually done for COVID will get mainstreamed. And, work from home and, people doing multiple roles is going to increase, and is going to enable digitally enabled MSMEs to actually access talent like they could have never done before. So it's a great transformation opportunity for all entities in this sector.
Shalini, as you had mentioned earlier, that Google has been working in digitalizing small businesses for a while now. What has changed, and how is Google approaching this in the current times?
So I think we are trying to adapt our efforts to the needs of the businesses, because we understand that every business, is in different phases of their evolution. Their needs are very different, and the kinds of support that they need, in going digital may also be very different, right? But there are some key changes that we had made to some of our existing products during when COVID happened. So I'll give you a few examples, Shraddha. So one very simple tool for SMBs to get online both on Google Search and on Google Maps is this tool that a free tool that we have called Google My Business, right? Businesses can create a very simple listing which will help them surface both on Google Search and on Google Maps. Now, during COVID, or during the lockdown, actually we have added much more. So there's an option there called attributes, right? Where you can show what are the attributes of your business which are meaningful for that present time that you're in. So during COVID, we actually added a whole bunch of attributes, and these attributes are actually facts about your business. So for instance, if you have if you've implemented social distancing, right, you can call that out as an attribute, saying, look, in my business, I have social distancing, which is, if you've introduced, let's say, online delivery, you can include that as an attribute, right? If you have contactless delivery, you can include that as an attribute now. So, when users or consumers are looking for their business, they can actually see these important attributes about the business and then make a decision, an informed decision, whether to engage with that business or not, right? So that was one very important, a change that we had made on Google My Business, which was very timely and required at that point in time. A lot of businesses even had to indicate that they were temporarily shut, right? And when they came back, they had to inform their customers that now they're open with new working hours or whatever. So, they were able to do that real time in Google My Business. The second product where we made some very interesting changes was is on the Google Pay for Business app, right? So we have Google for Pay, which is for consumers, but we also have a business app which is for merchants. Now, while the Google Pay app has been in existence since 2019 September, one very important feature which we added was video verification, right? We understood that physical verification is not going to be possible. So businesses who wanted to now start using Google Pay to accept or give payments could easily verify themselves to onboard themselves onto Google Pay just by using a video verification in less than 10 minutes, right? So that was one. The other very important launch we did was something called a nearby spot within the Google Pay consumer app, right? So what this nearby spot does is that when a consumer is in the app and they're looking for businesses in their vicinity, if you are listed on Google Pay for business as a merchant, you will come up, right? So discoverability of you for your consumers who are in your neighborhood is far greater, right? So that was a launch that happened in April, so that people can figure out like who are these merchants who are close to me, who can satisfy my needs, whether it is grocery shopping, or whether it is for pharmacies, or whether it is food, right? We were able to kind of launch this in time for COVID. And then I think the last piece also through GPay itself that I'd like to just talk about is that we understand that cash flow is tight at this point in time, right? So one of the things we are trying to also work, GPay has a lot of financial institutions with whom we partner. So through our partnerships, we are trying to see if we can get loan offerings for these small and medium businesses that can be surfaced to them through the GPay for Business app itself. That's still work in progress, but but it's essentially, I think it's very pertinent for this environment that we are in.
Can you give examples, share some examples of how Google products have helped small businesses?
Sure, there are like several examples, but I can just talk about maybe a couple of quick ones. Interestingly, the two examples that maybe I will talk about are both husband and wife businesses, which is I think a nice it's very unique that in small businesses in India we have a lot of these either solo proprietorship or like a couple owned business, right? So the first example maybe I can talk about is this company called Sitara Foods. They're actually quite an old organization. They've been in existence for 37 years, right? So they're not a startup or anything like that. They've been in existence, and they were actually operating back then from a small village. I think now they're more recently they're in Bangalore, but they used to operate from a small village back then, right? Currently, the person who's taking care of it, her name is Shravya, and her husband is Shrikant. Now they are the ones who are taking care of it. About 18 months ago, they started their digital journey, right? And I think and their digital journey, they started with Google Ads for starters. And I think, since they've started, this is in their own words, there's been no looking back for them, right? They used to be a very small company of just 4 employees. And in 18 months, since they started doing ads, with Google, they've actually now they have over 50 employees, right? They've dramatically increased their business. Their business has, more than their hike in orders apparently has been more than 3x. And even during COVID, because people were looking for, like home businesses for hygienic food, like they still didn't actually see a drop in during COVID, right? And their customers were still able to reach out to them because they had an very strong online presence. So Sitara Foods is maybe one example. The other one, which I'll quickly talk about, is a local handicrafts business called Krishna Tassels. Now, tassels are what you tie in the end of the sari, right? So it's a very traditional kind of sari tassel making business. But again, a husband and wife who run this business. It was the wife who started it, and their journey has been actually through the skilling platform. So Dilip had talked about our association with FICCI on the Digital Unlocked Skilling Initiative. So she actually learned, both of them learned about how to promote their business online through Digital Unlocked. Later, they actually, made their website. They actually got themselves onto Google Analytics to find, more consumers for themselves. They created a Google My Business page, and so far, not just their business, but what I think was amazing about this story is they have actually now trained over 700 unemployed and underprivileged people on how to make these tassels, right? And they're giving them the opportunity to improve their livelihood. So I think, these kind of stories there are so many of them, and so inspiring to kind of hear about how they've used these online tools to not just impact themselves, but also their communities.
Tassels are the beautiful and cute hangings on the sari edge, and at Krishna Tassels, we custom craft each and every tassel to suit the client's saris.
It's a fashion turned business.
I could work at home and still be for my kid and still make money.
When you personally custom craft anything, you love it.
Yeah.
That's the emotional connect that Krishna Tassels has with their clients, right?
Just having the product is not going to bring your clients to you. That was the main challenge.
We started with Google My Business because it helps setting up a business, managing it, and growing your business. All 3 stages is covered. We started our own tassel factory.
And now we have 190 reviews at 4.9 rating.
The moment we got to know about COVID-19, the very first thing that we did was get into contactless ordering and delivery process. Google My Business had this auto update where it updated the business as temporarily closed, and that really helped because people would directly connect with us on chat or over phone and not end up on our doorstep. Our present topmost priority is to get as many orders as possible to keep our staff engaged.
We came up with a do-it-yourself lace video and we posted it on YouTube. We were always thinking about doing it, but we never had that time to sit together and create something new.
With Google, even small companies like us can think big. One realization that has happened is that whatever we are is because of our presence
in the community.
This lockdown situation has also taught another thing of being more human, supporting each other, your neighbors, your friends, your family members, your staff. So one biggest lesson that we learned during this situation is how we can continue to run our business putting humans first, putting this community first.
Dilip, FICCI has been driving a lot of initiatives and policy discussions to help small businesses. How has the technology adoption moved over time and in recent times?
I like to actually bring another facet out for small and medium industries. We tend to forget them because they are very conveniently classified as startups, right? But startups are all micro and medium and small enterprises. They're very interestingly qualified. I'm not talking about the unicorns and all that, but there are only 35, 36 of them or whatever it is. But so, the startups were a very important concept of the, MSME stratosphere. And we did a full survey among startups of what are the issues, right? And the initial results were pretty depressing, right? Because you see, initially when the pandemic struck, anybody, if you had a deal already signed, people were not dispersing. If a deal was under negotiation, they were postponing it. If you had to make a pitch, for the first 2 months, hardly any pitches non-COVID were actually made. So we looked at, and a lot of these people were technology enabled, right? And technology. So we connected them to a lot of the solutions and a lot of the MSMEs who wanted their solutions, right? And then what we found was that we did a kind of a small survey, and interestingly, it was the same organization that Google had used. Right, amongst our small and medium enterprises, a sample survey to actually understand. And like we said, we found that technology adoption within the MSMEs has actually been going up. And like I said earlier, one is not only because they want to, but there was a need because everything else was happening digitally. Right. The second thing is that a lot of them actually pivoted, and we tend to disregard this fact in the context. You see, and when the COVID crisis started, there were very few companies making sanitizers, face masks, PPE suits. The first businesses that actually pivoted were the small businesses. And we helped them to source technology, whether it was where to get the technology to manufacture, technology to buy the raw materials. And the MSMEs first pivoted, and the large companies who were in allied businesses also pivoted, but they use a lot of small businesses as their contractors, as their suppliers. So a lot of technology went in because you had to do very, very simple things. And now in hindsight, you might actually say that what is this technology? But in the days of the lockdown, you had to get a pass online. If you wanted to move and travel, you had to, even now, if you want a pass, it is available online. And MSMEs actually had to get savvy, whether it is using your phone, using your computer, etc. there. Second, in manufacturing the products and all, a lot of it went online. Even the GST filing now, or the income tax filing, is all online, right? So you use digital and technology for one, allowing mobility. Second, for in your production ecosystem. Third, in your regulatory compliance and the whole governance ecosystem. Fourth, in accessing digital products and filing taxes, etc. And fifth, which is to connect with the outside world, and the examples that Shalini gave about nearby, etc. I will become even more relevant in the future, because we don't see foreign tourism increasing very, very rapidly, but in the immediate and medium term, we see domestic tourism and especially road tourism improving. And it is important for these firms to be on products such as nearby and the facilities, because people will be looking for safe places, for nearby places to actually access business and services. So across different elements, right? But there are still some companies which are lacking behind in their IT strategy, right? And our working, and like I mentioned, with Google and with working with industry, we want to ensure that the medium and small industries have access to the latest IT technologies and at least IT thought processes going forward, and enable them to be, there are three phases. The first phase was actually we will survive, right? So survival, I think, there are some set of recommendations there. But if you got to revive, you have to integrate technology into your system. And if you got to thrive, you got to be a very different company relating to technology, including how do you track your inventories, how do you track deliveries. Earlier this was more or less done without the aid of technology. Now with contactless delivery, with other things becoming the norm, right? Companies have to really do a lot in this sphere. And again, we forget, and Shalini took the example of the food processing company, but we forget a lot of the cloud kitchens, a lot of the local dhabas, a lot of the local kirana stores who have used technology and enabled it, including use, let's say, Google Pay and others, to enable contactless delivery, contactless payment, contactless order assimilation. So it's actually happening in a manner that is exponentially exponential, if there's a word like that, to how technology and use of digitization was happening in this sector earlier.
Tell us about the customer's role in helping local businesses and brands.
Yeah, Shraddha, thanks for asking that. So like I said, businesses are still struggling, and Dilip, I think, gave some great examples of how small businesses are really trying to pivot, right, to keep up with this new normal that they're all in, whether it is putting in efforts of digital payment, contactless experiences, etc. Right? So they are doing their part in trying to make sure that they are still providing a safe, business experience to their consumers. And I think the ask is very simple, that consumers recognize that these efforts that businesses are putting in, and really kind of give them go back to them to give them the business that they are seeking from them, right? So citizens will really need to rise to this challenge, Shraddha, in helping businesses gain back their economic vitality, right? I think that's really the ask. So to that end, at Google, we've launched a nationwide campaign called Make Small Strong. I repeat, it's called Make Small Strong, hashtag Make Small Strong, to really rally support for these small businesses from consumers. And the ask is very simple, right? Please start buying locally. Please make sure that you leave reviews and ratings for these businesses, right? And also, please promote your favorite retailers on social media to really help them garner more business and generate more business and come back to their pre-COVID levels or even more, right? So it's a very simple idea. Every little action counts, really. And so when consumers rally behind small businesses, we will make not just the business strong, we'll also make our community stronger and our country stronger. So it's a simple rallying cry to asking citizens to make small strong.
Dilip, what do you have to say about that?
I fully endorse that, and we actually are fully aligned and partnering Google in this initiative of making small strong. And it goes also in consonance with the Prime Minister's thing of being vocal for local. And, I don't know if you actually tracked it, but from 7th of August for 14 days, there was a very interesting campaign, which was Vocal for Handmade, which a lot of celebrities and a lot of other people actually, promoted something which was vocal. And, I took it as a challenge, and every day I was and went out and bought, something very local, which reflected some part of India, the tradition. And the one thing was the kurta, but whether it's a Tanjore painting or whether it's a Himachali cap or whether it's a Kolhapuri chappal or whether it was, a Ladakh tankha or a Kashmiri tweed coat. I mean, I have 14 different examples for there, and we just posted it on, on social media. And I'm normally very reticent on social media, because of the role that I play. But all I can say is that the tremendous response that we got, and even said, okay, we tend to forget people who work and depend on this. So I've tracked down my chickwala, the guy who makes the chick, got him to refurbish the chicks and got him engaged for 3 days, right? And, and if each one of us as a consumer actually thinks local, and thinks of making small strong, because unless small is strong and resilient and vibrant, India cannot be strong and resilient and vibrant. And we owe it not only to society, but to all of us to actually help make small strong. And therefore, this is a very, very important journey as we go forward. And I think this has to be the bedrock for the economic and social development going forward.
As you drive enablement and as you continue to drive enablement, what's new on that front?
Sure. So I think enablement, as Dilip had called out, I think early in his introduction itself, has been a path that we've taken for many years now. And in fact, I think FICCI has been one of our earliest partners in our enablement journey, which we started way back in 2017 with Digital Unlocked. And we've run many programs, both offline and also online. And in fact, collectively, we have trained over 1.2 million people using our learning platforms across Digital Unlocked. And we also have an app called Primer, which you can use for learning, right? So most recently, what we did was, it's not that we tweaked those programs, but we actually brought all of these programs and our resources onto one hub, right? So that it makes it easier for small businesses to discover everything that they need from that one hub. It's called Grow with Google Small Business Hub. It's a little bit of a mouthful, but if they just look for Small Business Hub, they can find it. And basically, all of our initiatives, all of our learning platforms, all the tools that they need to start their online journey, And also, most recently, we've also tied up with a bunch of partners to surface some very interesting offers to small businesses, which can help in their digital enablement, right? So to give you an example, that we partnered with Zoho, with InstaMojo, with Dunzo, and with Swiggy, who under this initiative are actually providing very helpful, not just products, but also offers to advertisers, and that's exclusive to businesses, and that's exclusively coming from the Small Business Hub, right? So it's an exclusive offer if you go to the Small Business Hub. So I would highly encourage businesses who are probably listening to this to go to Grow with Google Small Business Hub and look at these offers, and if they are meaningful to you, you should definitely adopt them.
Dilip, what more can the industry do to help small businesses, and in terms of sourcing locally, to investing and to help businesses? Overall, how do we make this actually truly strong?
So Shraddha, I think there is something which is happening which a lot of people don't know, because it's typically seen as a big business thing, but it's not actually big business. The government under Mr. Piyush Goyal in the Ministry of Industry and Commerce has actually identified 25 sectors. And these sectors also include footwear, textiles, furniture, toys, which are traditionally bastions of small and medium enterprises. And they're looking at three things. How do you increase value addition in India? How do you increase local content? How do you get alternate supply chains working? And how do you make India a hub for the world? For each sector by sector, it is a group of industry people who are leading it. And there's a steering committee on this, which is actually acronym is SCALE. It is led by Dr. Goenka, right? And the idea is to find out, Dr. Pawan Goenka of Mahindra & Mahindra, how to actually encourage local value addition, encourage local scale, and get India to be a dominant player in these 24 sectors, right? And there's even things where we are currently nowhere in the scene, whether it is CCTV or drones or other things. So it is all about vocal for local and encouraging, and a lot of them are small and medium enterprises, right? So that is one thing which is actually happening here to enable. The second thing is, again, using a digital platform. One of the biggest challenges is for small and medium companies to reach out to their customers. So FICCI itself has devised a FICCI Bike, right? Which is, information, knowledge, and, it's an acronym for that. And where we do buyer-seller meets. So we recently did a virtual exhibition in healthcare products, because a lot of small and medium companies don't know what products they need to actually restart their companies in terms of meeting their demands for the social distancing, etc., etc. The second thing that we used that platform was for doing logistics, like while the large FMCG companies had access to logistics and all, the small FMCG companies did not know who to go to. So we did a very focused thing on logistics, where the large companies shared the success story. The logistics providers came up and told the small and medium enterprises what they could do. And the third type of things they're doing, we did it for Vastra, which was focused on the small garment manufacturers in Rajasthan, or whether it was, for other sectors to do buyer-seller meets with small and medium enterprises on a virtual platform. So companies actually ended up in creating virtual stalls, which they could actually carry, and if they were interested, put it up on their websites and other platforms to enable that to actually happen. So that was, the type of digital. I'm just focusing on the digital journey and digital interventions that we actually made. And then in the area of tourism, right, where again a lot of small and medium firms are there. In the area of medical electronics, in agriculture, which is actually happening tomorrow and day after, we are getting a lot of digital companies and startups, typically startups, to present to small and medium businesses what are the solutions that they have so that they can improve their local, production. And then local consumption and local production. Of course, we are going to the government with a whole set of recommendations of how to actually, improve demand and, demand stimulation, because most of the things have been on supply side there. And that being so, that you have to look at the whole spectrum where we enable small and medium enterprises to get access to technology, understand how to use it, get access and knowledge about the platforms. A lot of people don't know about the platforms, so dissemination of what Google is doing, to a larger, non-tech savvy kind of institutions to empower. And I think it's a movement. While you use the word enablement, right? I think it's a movement from enablement to empowerment. And when the businesses get empowered, there will be a dramatic, shift, in the whole local ecosystem going forward.
I could feel the energy when you were answering this question. So it is enablement to empowerment. And thank you, Shalini. Thank you, Dilip. One key thing that has come out from this conversation is that there is focus, there is purpose, there is this drive, and there is commitment from you, Shalini, from Google, to ensure that SMBs actually become stronger, and you have so many solutions, you have so many products, and there are a lot of initiatives happening to enable them. And Dilip, what I gather from you is that lot is happening, and SMB is not just the tech world which is visible, but SMBs are millions of those small micro entrepreneurs who are today struggling. And Vicky, your team, and with collaboration with partners like Google, you are ensuring that the companies are getting enabled and empowered. Thank you. Hope with all these initiatives we actually get to have a very stronger, very, very strong small businesses get stronger, and we can say that actually we are witnessing small is strong. Yeah. Thank you so much for this insightful conversation.
Thank you, Shraddha. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shraddha. Thank you so much.
Thank you. स्मॉल का मतलब क्या होता है? वो छोटी स्टोरीज जो लाइफ में बड़े लेसन सिखाती हैं।
स्मॉल का मतलब वो रेस्टोरेंट जैसे पता है कि आपको थोड़ा सा एक्स्ट्रा प्याज कितना ज्यादा पसंद है।
स्मॉल का मतलब वो बुटीक जिसका छोटा सा पर्सनल टच काफी कुछ कह जाता है।
स्मॉल का मतलब वो लोकल किराना स्टोर जिसके लिए कोई भी ऑर्डर स्मॉल नहीं कहलाता।
इन बड़ी मुश्किलों के वक्त में इन्हें चाहिए बस थोड़ा सा अटेंशन,
थैंक्स नीलम बुटीक,
थोड़ा सा प्यार और थोड़ा सा सपोर्ट,
क्योंकि स्मॉल से ही इंडिया स्ट्रॉन्ग बनता है।
बाय,
बुक,
रिव्यू एंड शेयर।
लेट्स सर्च, शॉप एंड सपोर्ट लोकल businesses in every small way possible. Make small strong.